Valet mode activated. The night the car said room 1107. At 9:03 p.m. the car told me where he was. Not our car exactly, ours and his. We share the app because splitting insurance isn't romantic, but it helps. On my lock screen, valet mode activated. Under it, a tiny map puckering into place, Lark Hotel Garage. There was a line in smaller text I hated for its competence. Guest elevator lobby, level B1. Noah had left at 8 with the jacket that fits every room, the kiss people give when they expect the night to behave. Wrap drinks, he said, which is 2/3 of a promise. Quick notes, don't wait. He knows how to speak in calendar blocks. The app buzzed again, cabin locked, speed limited, location shared. I stood in the kitchen holding a wooden spoon like it could stir the evening toward scents. The spoon decided to be a spoon. If you've never watched a machine volunteer someone's whereabouts, it feels like catching your reflection, rehearsing an expression you don't admit to owning. I tapped through. The car's blue dot rested under a stack of concrete. A thumbnail of a door camera showed a hallway with the kind of carpet that costs more when it's quiet. I put on the jacket that knows how to keep a secret and shut the door with the patience of a person who has learned you can't fight gravity in a hallway. Outside, the city practiced reflections, storefront glass preserving strangers as if rumor were a kind of heritage. The Lark lobby smelled like late citrus and successful apologies. A pianist in the corner played music that didn't mind being ignored. The concierge looked at me with the merciful professionalism of someone who collects expensive regrets like postcards. I didn't ask for anything. Elevators forgive almost any trespass when your shoulders remember the posture of a reservation. B1 showed me the edge of a world that tries not to be seen. Concrete, painted lines, a kind of industrious quiet. The car sat obediently, the screen announcing valet like it had been waiting to be congratulated. I walked to the guest elevator labeled rooms, pressed L, then 11, and counted the floors with my tongue against the roof of my mouth, the old trick for pretending I was made of specifics. On 11, the carpet hushed me into a more expensive version of restraint. Numbers gleamed like they had letters of recommendation. I stopped 2 doors before 11:07 because I am trying to be a person who makes fewer headlines. I texted, "Tea when you get home." I am a man who offers beverages instead of confrontations. It's not brave, but it pours. 3 dots appeared the way small animals approach porches. Vanished. Reappeared as if courage were a trick of light. Maybe, he wrote, "Don't wait, might be late." Read. The handle of 1107 clicked with the practiced elegance metal learns when it's paid to be discreet. A rectangle of warm light opened, and Noah stepped through with the expression of a man attempting to look average in case the evening was gratting on a curve. He pulled the door closed like a curtain that didn't belong to us. "Emmett," he said, my name with the softness of a receipt. "The car says hello," I said, a joke used as a leash on panic. "It's in the garage, very proud of itself. Says it's sharing location with me, like we're co-parenting a secret." He glanced at his shoes where men store the version of themselves that can't be scheduled. "Not here," he said, "not next to numbers." He nodded toward the end of the hall. "Smoker's Terrace." The terrace was a glass rectangle perched above the hotel's lungs, gray ductwork humming, compressors rehearsing the idea of weather. A small table waited like a witness who had been coached. An ashtray tried hard not to be metaphoric. Noah braced his hands on the rail, then opened them as if unfolding a plan he had no interest in assembling. "I lied when I left," he said. "Rap happened. The part where everyone is their best self happened. I told myself I needed 30 minutes with a person who laughs like nothing is due." Who? I asked, because names are handles. You grip one when the room tilts. Julian, he said. Sound. He hears me even when I've turned myself down. Are you sleeping with him? There's no synonym that keeps your dignity. You keep it by saying the ugly version well. No, he said quickly, cleanly. Then lower with the honesty that knows which muscle to bruise. I brought my mouth. We let the evening pick a temperature and then respected it. A housekeeper stepped onto the terrace, recognized the shape of our conversation, and reversed with the professional mercy of someone who collects other people's endings without keeping them. Somewhere below, a door sighed like an edited line. I'm not your bouncer, I said, and I refuse to be your docent. Those are the only two job postings people hand you when they hear marriage and panic in the same paragraph. What do you want? He asked. Not theater contours. 30 days where we only decide in daylight, I said. After 9:30 we put anything heavy into a folder labeled coffee. 2 nights a week belong to us, cheap, dumb, loud, quiet. I don't care, but we leave the house and cheat on the routine. Phones go boring again. No lock screen previews chewing our throats. No auto logins volunteering our location. No dashboards handing out alibis. We audit. Email, calendars, deliveries, points. We uproot permissions convenience grew without our consent. And tonight you go home with me. His nod was a small hinge finding itself. 5 minutes, he said. Count with your lungs. Back in the hall, a runner went by with a bus tub that spoke fluent gravity. The door to 1107 opened again. Julian came down the hall with a jacket folded like a well-mannered thought. His eyes met mine for exactly the duration decency requires. He didn't apologize, and I wasn't deputized. I did not hate him. Hatred is heavy furniture. We live in a small apartment. Noah returned with his mouth restored to factory settings. I told him I was misusing beginnings, he said. I told him thank you and good night. We took the service elevator because mirrors hadn't earned our trust. The lobby's piano found a chord for people choosing continuity. Outside, weather minded its own business. I felt newly fond of weather. At home, we sat on the kitchen floor because chairs are juries. I tore the blank half off a utility bill, the sacred stationery of couples who mean it, and wrote RULES at the top in block letters, like a child titling a very serious drawing. We drafted a list that embarrassed us into believing it. Thursday belongs to us. We go somewhere that isn't a screen. We pick the cheap thing with the pretty name and don't apologize for how small it is. Decision curfew 9:30. If it can bruise, it gets a morning. Modesty mode. Do not disturb at 8. No lock screen previews. No apps announcing our whereabouts like MCs. Audit, unlink, unsubscribe, unremember. Revoke permissions convenience stole. Paid ears. Every other week no one claps for metaphors. 3 actions due by Thursday. Deliberate uselessness. A weekly useless thing. A jingle for the kettle. A glass crossing the room without hands. A single step on 4 kitchen tiles. Bench by the river. We let the water lie about being Paris and forgive it immediately. Noah pulled out his phone and went to war with small betrayals, turning off settings that confuse attention with love, prying open menus that mistake autopilot for care. He typed what movies dislike because it refuses spectacle. Thank you for the attention. I'm choosing my marriage. Please don't contact me. He put the phone face down, then face up. Transparency is repetition, not revelation. We slept badly and near, the way people do when they've used their bravery earlier and it hasn't grown back yet. Morning made all our late ideas unbillable. Coffee survived us. Noah messaged his rap chat. Debrief tomorrow, not tonight. I need useful silence. Nobody asked useful for what. The first Thursday found us under community center lights that prefer honesty to charm. A teacher in yellow sneakers with a bell-shaped laugh taught us to count a swing step out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I stepped on his foot. He swore like a patient editor, and then he squeezed my elbow with the tenderness of someone adjusting a compass, not a person. Week 2, my hand kept discovering the phone the way a tongue interrogates a cut. He admitted he almost re-enabled join known networks, auto. We practiced not doing that and rewarded ourselves with nothing that could be photographed, which is a habit I recommend. There were nights when the sink auditioned for allegory and we didn't cast it. We carried plates on our heads to the couch and declared victory nowhere. There were Saturdays when an ad for the Lark floated into my feed in an expensive font. I pulled down like a curtain. The ad learned how to be a rumor. Week 3, we taped a photo to the wall that had been waiting in a drawer for a frame and a kinder version of us. It's the one from the summer storm. Us and 3 strangers under a storefront awning, faces bright with the kind of weather that thinks it has something to say. The magnet shaped like a banana performed its quiet sacrament. The rules collected creases like a flag remembering the wind. Week 4, we turned everything off for an hour. We put our phones in a mixing bowl as if restraint were a recipe. We told each other stories that don't live anywhere else. The time he fell asleep behind a curtain and woke to applause. The time I trusted a train to explain me to a city I hadn't yet named. We laughed that open laugh you can't do in a lobby. On day 30, the car tried to share again. Valet mode disabled. It offered, cheerful as a waiter closing a check he hopes will be generous. I tapped remove device from the shared list and said, not tonight, to a rectangle that will never learn mercy. The kettle sang in a key the apartment hadn't tried before. Steam is an optimist. We borrowed a little. Here is the unglamorous part. We didn't upgrade. We decided. We didn't become new men. We became ours. Sometimes we failed and still deserved breakfast. Sometimes we succeeded and the apartment noticed. Last night, Noah came home with the kind of tired that looked briefly like someone else's jacket. He held up a paper bag like a treaty. Lavender ice cream, he said, the flavor that believes in small miracles. We ate it by the river, coats open, because the rules didn't say warm, they said present. Tonight he leans on the kitchen doorway with a book resting against his ribs like a second heartbeat. What do you want exactly? He asks, without Dacre. I nearly say the past resized. I don't. You, I say, 6 counts, 4 tiles, bread tomorrow we cut with 2 hands. He smiles with that grave joy that chose me when there were other elevators. The kettle keeps its promise. The city declines to add commentary. If an app or a car or any polite rectangle tries again to tell me where I belong, it can learn what the paper on our fridge believes, creased and magnet-held and sincere. It isn't the key, the receipt, or the room number. It's the door, and tonight it opens from the inside.